if y'all are live. If you can share it if you want. It should be. Let me check. Yeah, it should be. Let's see. Yeah, we good. All right. All righty. Good. All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Unscripted. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I am back again with two dynamic guests on today. One of which is he gonna get broken in today. This is his first time. he's first time on this platform, but certainly not a newbie in my world. I've known this man for many years. Came up with him, even shared the stage with him, laughed, clowned, and even now he has moved him. He has been elevated and blessed to the spot of Bishop Eric Zimmerman. All right.
How y'all doing?
You can tell them your church and just a little bit about you.
Okay. Church is called True Foundation Apostolic Ministries in Clinton, Maryland. Church where true love reaches beyond the walls. We have a dynamic ministry. We're on Facebook. Looking to get on a couple of other different platforms. Spoke with somebody today. So we have a dynamic ministry. A lot of youth in the ministry. Powerful music ministry, teaching word ministry. You know, we're serious about God, deliverance type of ministry.
Good
so
stuff.
We're excited, and we know what's going on right now. Let me put it that way.
Right.
We're not lost in the sauce.
Right. All right. And then I had listen, y'all. Then back by popular demand, we have Pastor Jason Hendrickson. You know, last time he was on there, look, you know how they do Bishop when they have to, you know, when you drop them gems, you're like, well, I got to leave. You know, he was throwing them gems at him and he had to get off. He left a memorable, you know, he left his mark, and they were like, man, he was really bringing it to him. So yeah, tonight we're just gonna touch on a topic that's pretty basic in essence when it comes to just life in general. Trying to, I guess, check the pulse and the temperature of the level of happy in your relationship and or marriage. Certainly isn't nothing new, but you know, there's a term that we use today, and sometimes we're in an argument, we'll say, are we good? And you're trying to say, are we settled? You know, are things okay? Can we move on from here? Or you may just say, maybe it's the husband, he may say, so you good? Am I keeping a smile on your face? Are you happy? And vice versa. Women may say, are you good? Am I satisfying you? Or whatever the case. And
right.
It goes beyond sexual, just all types of things. And so this is one of those things that we want to say tonight, you know, are you good? And, you know, and if so, you know, what is that baseline requirement? You know, is there something we can package and put in a bottle, Pastor Jason, and sell it? Is there a baseline requirement that people are okay with as long as you provide those basic things? So that's what we're gonna kind of start off with tonight. All right, Bishop. How about we just, you know, we go ahead and break you in a little bit. You gotta
start me in first. I mean, Pastor Jason right there. He's right there.
No,
I'm new, man.
Yeah, I know. All right. Yeah, you know. Okay, listen. So, I mean, what we pretty much saying, y'all out there, is that it's certainly not an easy feat. It's not by any means. Look, it's hard enough keeping your own self good. You know, just trying to keep you good psychologically, mental, and let alone when you have the pressure of making sure they're good. It can be a struggle sometimes.
Right.
So that's what we want to speak to tonight and try to figure out how sometimes we can reach back and talk about some experiences, maybe situations that we handled, maybe we could have handled a little better, or we thought we did a good job at it. You know, something to try to help someone else with it, or we can speak on it to the point where someone else can connect. Someone may be currently going through a situation where they're trying to see, look, are you ever going to be good or what? You know, and go from there. But I'm going to hand the baton on. Go ahead and run on with it.
You speaking from reference from a man asking a woman, is she good?
Correct. But you can flip it. You can flip it
either way.
Either side.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, because, you know, it's funny because, you know, and I said before, as men, we were taught a lot of times, especially growing up, not to really express your feelings like that. You know, you weak and different things like that. So as it relates to, you know, when you dip into marriage, because I've been married for like well, I think it's 9 years now. Forgive me if I'm wrong, about 9 years.
Right.
And you know, you've been taught for so long not to really express yourself, express your feelings and different things like that, and be tough, be strong, you know, never let them see you cry, different things like that, till you begin to hold things in. And we men have this cave mentality where we shut down, where we go inside of a cave, where we run when confrontation or something like that happens. And so consequently, what has happened to us is when we stop feeling certain things that we need, sometimes we don't express it. We express it in other ways that we shouldn't, by getting, like, if you're lacking attention, instead of telling your wife, I need more attention, or your person you're in a relationship with, I need more attention, we get it from the office. You know, or we get it from the local Walmart.
Yeah. You're right.
You know,
you're right.
Because, you know, or at the drive-through, hey, how you doing today? You know, because we don't want to express ourselves. Because, and I think, and I can go deep into some things, I get into that later. But as it relates to why we're wired like that, but so we don't really express, and so therefore a lot of times a woman don't know what you really need or what you really want, you know, or how to really please you. A lot, especially because we got one thing on our mind most of the time. But what I've learned is that we're emotional, not as emotional as women are. Let me get that straight. But we are emotional creatures. And there's things that we do need. You know, I tell my wife all the time, I need affection. I need a hug. Okay, I need you to touch me. If we land in the bed, I want you to put your leg on my leg. I need to feel like I'm wanted. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of women don't think men are really wired like that, but we are wired like that. We need that. It's not a want, it's a need. And it all has to do with validation. Because we're wired to need validation. Not that we go through our society looking for it, but from our woman, we gotta have validation. It's like stroking our ego. We want to stroke. And so when we feel that affection, when we feel that coming from a woman, it makes us feel good. So you can be broke in your pocket, your car can be broke, a lot of things can be broke. But if that woman is building you up, you know, taking care of you, that makes all the, you know, it kind of gives you what you need. You know, to me, when they say that, you know, the man is supposed to cover the woman, and that's our job, to cover her from a security, from a physical standpoint, financial standpoint, cover her. But that woman covers that man when she loves him, when she really loves him and takes care of him and feeds him. Because you got to go back to the garden to see where it all started, to really understand the process. I'm gonna shut up right there. I'm gonna go ahead and let Pastor Jason talk.
You can keep going, Bishop. I'm enjoying you. Enjoying you.
You want me to go ahead?
No, go. You can go on. It don't matter. Yeah.
Go ahead, Pastor Jason. You
said, I'm going to keep going. I'll just pick up where Bishop.
He's a little freezing. He's frozen. Oh, his thing is a little frozen.
My screen?
Yeah, go ahead. Start over again. It's like you were a little frozen. All right.
Oh, I said from the beginning of time, men have always needed affirmation.
Yeah.
And I think we that have come into real manhood, and see, that's the thing we have to understand. A lot of times when young ladies are in relationships, you have to really differentiate. Are you dating a little boy in a man's body? Because when you're dating a little boy in a man's body, he won't admit that he needs your affirmation.
Wow.
He'll look at you as an opponent instead of a.
Man, he's frozen over there.
Yeah.
Let's give him it froze you at when you talked about a boy.
Okay. Yeah. When you're dealing with a man that understands his manhood, you understand that you're made up in the image of God, and God himself says, I inhabit the praise or the ego stroking from my people.
Wow.
And I will dwell wherever I'm spoken well of. So when I'm a man, I understand that for me to, it doesn't make me insecure. It doesn't make me someone that's not sure of who I am. No, I'm just in time where I'm affirmed. And anywhere that I'm not affirmed, my presence will be scarce. It's just like God.
Wow.
God won't show up and remain anywhere where there's no praise. And men are the same way. That's why infidelity is so easily entered into relationships, because a girl could be 500 pounds and get my attention if she wants to talk to me.
Speak the truth.
And most women think that, you know, the cheating or the infidelity comes from the outside pulchritude because of what they look like. Right. It has nothing to do with that, because you can be a model, look like Beyonce, and don't know how to communicate and don't know how to stroke my ego. You won't have any of my time. Wow. My body will be, but my mind will be down the street with someone that knows how to affirm me, that knows how to cast, that knows how to affirm my vision, that knows how to undergird who God has called me to be, that becomes a partner instead of a competitor. Wow. These are all the dynamics that happen in relationship that turn men away. So when you look at one of the strongest examples of this in the scriptures is when Delilah got Samson to turn over the secret of his covenant with God without ever opening her legs. And most women really think the most powerful thing they possess is their vagina. And the truth of the matter is that ain't it. Because she never slept with him. But she broke him down and got him to tell her a secret that his mother and father didn't even know. Only God and Samson knew. So when a woman knows how to make you comfortable enough to lay in her lap, to lay in her presence, and make you feel like you are the end all of all end alls, you'll begin to experience, are you good? For real, for real.
Yeah. Wow. He just wanted some place to lay his head. That's where he wanted.
That's all he wanted.
When you was talking, I was going back to how women are built, you know, because, you know, God looked at Adam and said, man, he looks really sad. He needs to help me. And if you notice in that scripture, when he said it's not good for man to be alone, he didn't give him a woman right away. He made Adam first name the animals. So he names the animals, right? And then that's when Adam really realized nothing is here is like me. Nothing that I've named is like me. So I can't be bummed up with none of this stuff right here. So then after that, God created woman and connected him with woman. Now you got to look at the way the woman is wired. He wanted to give Adam a help me. He gave him somebody to talk to. And that's why women can talk 10,000 words a minute or 15, 20, because they're communicators, right? And so they gave this woman. So when I was looking at what happened with the tree, the woman was the first to bite because she was curious, because she's a talker. She's curious. She wants to know everything. I always tell my wife, you think you know everything. You want to know everything, right? And so she fell for it. She reached over. She gave it to him because he was standing right there with her, right? He took it instead of slapping it out of her hand. And I'm going to talk to him about this too. He could have slapped it right out of her hand and said, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Don't you know what God said? But he didn't. He took it. I kept saying to myself, why did he take it? It was his love for Eve, but it was also Eve's love for him, because she turned and gave it to him, knowing that it was wrong. But since then, if you notice, because that was a passive move from him. It was passive. You know, he didn't stand up and take authority. And since then, it's like man has been fighting for validation, you know, because of the passive nature that Adam had, because of what he didn't do. So now we're trying to prove to the world who we are and what we can do. So now we're in that mode when we get into a marriage or anything like that. We got to make sure they know that we are men. And this is where the validation part comes in, why we need it so bad, why we, not that we want it, we need it. It pushes us. It drives us to have it. And I don't think women really understand that dynamic of it. And as Pastor Jason was saying, that's a lot of times why infidelity come in. And he was true by what he was saying.
Yeah.
Back when I was single.
Yeah.
Right. I gotta make that stipulation. When I was single, right? Went out to a restaurant to eat, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of, and but I can be transparent and real. I was lonely. I wanted somebody and different things like that.
Yeah.
But the waitress at the time, the way she spoke to me did something to me.
Wow.
You know, she wasn't even really that attractive.
Wow.
Okay, let me, if I can put it. But it was the way she spoke to me. It was what she said to me, and it was just simple little words like, "What you want to eat, sweetie?" And it was just the way she came off, the way she said it. It made me feel like I saw somebody put a comment on it talking about how our mothers would talk to us. It made me feel like that.
Wow.
You know, it made me, I was like, wow, they really care about me. And that's what we're looking for, somebody to care about us and to make us feel like we're special. Because we are kings, but we want our queen to make us feel like we the king of the house. And so when they turn and try to usurp authority, this is where the breakdown of the relationship or the marriage come in, because they try to illegally take authority over something that God placed us where he placed us at, you know.
Wow. I mean, and this is certainly a thing where, I mean, you said something when you I'm still stuck in when you talked about how we're trying to regain that passive move that Adam made back then, you know, and how that makes a lot of sense, because you would think about it, why wouldn't you say no or just take it or knock it away? But why did you go through with it? And so, like you said, that same conscience is still happening today. We're still reacting like that. Sometimes when we should say no to something, or, you know, or kind of walk away from it, we don't. We go right on ahead and be passive and go through it.
We take it.
Yeah.
Take the bait.
Man. And so, you know, how do you guys feel how do you handle it when, so here's the one aspect we're talking about is the man and him being good, but how do you handle it when to the woman? So the woman typically, you know, we want to be like, so are you good? Are you straight? But from your perspective, and ladies are listening, what are some of the things, like for your wives, what are some of the things to you know are the basics of her being good? Just the basics. We will forget all the stuff on top, just the basics.
I think we have to get back to understanding what drives the opposite sex. What drives me as a man is ego stroking. What drives my wife as a woman is security.
Wow.
I can't be the head of the house and my house is insecure, but then demand respect.
Wow.
You know, I'll go and I'll take my cloak off for a minute and be transparent with you guys. Years ago, being a musician, you know, we were kind of spoiled in church because we started making money, or what we thought was money, at a very early age.
Okay. And
then me being blessed to start playing at a professional level at 16, I really got spoiled, because I was traveling all over the world at 16 years old.
Wow.
You know, and never having to get a job because I was just that guy. Yeah. People gave me stuff for free. You know, in church, when you're the popular musician, you don't have to work for anything. You don't have to work for even the attention of young ladies. It just became second nature, right, because I was on that stage. Yeah. And what began to happen when I got married, early in my marriage, I called myself going full-time ministry. Okay. And I was full-time with no engagements, full-time with no money coming in. Wow. Because I was already in that mode of sleeping till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, getting up, going to the studio, hanging out with the fellas. I was at home playing PlayStation. And my wife, since I've known her, my wife probably has the best work ethic I've ever seen. Since I've known my wife, she's had 2 and 3 jobs her whole life. Wow. And now she works for the New York City Police Department. She's been with them going on 20 years. Wow. So my wife used to get up in the morning, go to work. I would be in the bed playing PlayStation. She'd come home. I'm in the bed playing PlayStation, but then I'm barking orders. And she's looking at me like, Negro, who are you talking to?
I preached about you guys.
You know what I'm saying? Because what happened, I let the whole part of the household thing go without understanding the responsibility of the table being put in my hand like that. Because most people love the perks of position, but don't want to deal with the accountability of that position.
Wow.
I love having home cooked meals and being able to say, go do that, go that. But then after a while, my wife started to feel insecure because like, bro, I'm paying all these bills by myself. And what will begin to happen in a relationship when you allow your wife or your woman to be the sole provider of that household, the authority that is ordained for a man will now transfer to the wife.
Yeah.
And then the wife will begin to act like she's the head. And then now you have a conflict in the house because who you talking to? Girl, you ain't talking to me like that. Right. But the truth of the matter is she would have never felt like that if I would have been about my business. So the minute I started working, and thank God for my pastor at the time, Bishop Hezekiah Walker, he was like, yo, what you doing, man? Like, get up. You got to go get a job. Right. Like, you ain't full-time ministry. You ain't preaching nowhere. Wow. You told me, I'm not releasing you to preach nowhere until you get a job. Wow. So, you know, once I did that and shifted my whole life, I think that's why I work the way I work now, because I never want to go back to that place where my family looks at me and feels insecure.
Wow.
So that is very hard to respect a man that makes you feel insecure. Like, how are we gonna pay these light bills? How we gonna take care of these kids? And you don't have no answers. Nobody will respect that. The Bible even says a man that doesn't leave an inheritance for his children, you're worse than an infidel.
Infidel.
And the only reason why you can't leave an inheritance is because you ain't working.
Wow.
You got to be working, even if you're working for yourself. I'm an entrepreneur now. I haven't worked for anybody else in 7 years.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you now, I get up every day and work like I'm working like I did when I worked for the city of New York. Right. I don't play no games because I never want to go back to that place where anybody looks at me and feels like, this ain't no real man.
Yeah.
So that's how women feel.
Yeah.
I preach about them guys. I call them hobosexuals.
Who?
Hobosexuals. Yeah, because they just want sex, but they just want a place to live. They don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. I'm so glad you woke up, Pastor Dixon. You woke up. But you talking about security. When I was engaged to my wife, she lost her job. She had a good job. She lost it while we were engaged. Now, most guys would have been like, we're going to postpone the wedding, until you find something, right? She loses her job in the midst of our engagement. We had already set the date and everything.
Okay.
She blows through her savings. She spends all her money. And what do I do? I was paying my rent and I started paying her mortgage.
Wow.
Paying her mortgage for almost a year while she was not working before we got married. And married her. I don't think she still wasn't working when I married her, right? Yeah. But it was important for me to do that, to show her that I'm willing to take care of you. Wow. Because like we said, women want what? They want to make sure they have that security.
Yeah.
They want to know that you're going to take care of them and you're going to look out for them. So as some people stated, that's important. They want that security. They want that love, like we need that validation, and we need our ego stroke. So that was good, Pastor Jason.
Yeah, and you know how sometimes if you think about the concept of being good, meaning you good, she good. You think about insurance, and think about how when you have insurance, they'll tell you. So, the insurance salesman, of course, he's going to try to hot sell you all the bells and whistles and the hot things. But at the end of the day, really what you need is the state minimums. The state minimums would give you the cheaper price. And it's basic enough to cover you. Well, there's some people that require they're okay with state minimums, and then there's some relationships in marriages where you got supplemental A and D, you got a plan over here because people require that much just to keep things at ease, and that's just at a local level. And I think the problem we have to be able to differentiate between is, am I trying to make sure someone is good that probably will never be good? Meaning their flesh needs to be that celebrated constantly that you're going to find yourself always. I just did that for you. I thought I bought you. I did this, and constantly you are trying to please somebody who seems to never. It's like a bottomless pit. They're never appreciative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then Charles, there's some people.
I know he's saying something deep because he froze.
He was like,
the best way to be happy is to understand that true happiness comes from an internal place, not external.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are looking for, a lot of men are looking for women to make them happy. A lot of women are looking for men to make them happy. And the truth is, if you're not happy with who you are, with the plan, with the goals, short-term and long-term that you have set for yourself, and you're actually achieving them, one thing I learned: misery loves company and hates to be alone. I don't allow people to make me feel bad, Charles and Bishop, because I've taken what God has put in my hand. He didn't put it in yours. He put it in my hand, and I'm making it work.
Right.
A lot of times people don't know that if you're dealing with someone that has given birth to, you're going to lose every time. So if I'm carrying a vision, if I'm carrying a business, if I'm carrying a ministry, and you want to come into my life in a romantic way with what I give birth to, because you're going to lose. Because after you leave, my business will still be there if I'm smart. After you leave, my church will still be there. My music will still be there. Don't try to compete with what I've given birth to, because you will lose. And I learned this the hard way. My wife, when we got together, she had a daughter that was 6 months old.
Okay.
And I remember 8 years old. I've been with her 30 years now, but my daughter turned 8, going through that whole "you're not my daddy" thing. And I looked at my wife. I said, "Hey, let me say something to you. It's either me or this little girl. One of us got to get out." My wife got under the covers and looked at me and said, "Well, when you packing your stuff, brother?" And I looked at her like, "Excuse me," but it clicked. I was doing it wrong. I was trying to compete with.
Oh man.
And I was trying to make my wife choose between me and what she gave birth to. That's when it went off in my mind. I said, never again. I'm going to partner with her. And now I wrote a book from it. My first book was based on my relationship, those first 8 years of me parenting wrong, of me being a failure as a father.
Wow.
The first 8 years, because I now said people in church are having sex before marriage.
Yeah.
Being a step parent, unless you just are an anomaly, kids, you have few folk here and there that don't have kids, and you can get with them and you can build a family from scratch. Yeah. But I said that is an area that I have to write about, because a lot of people are experiencing blended families.
Oh man.
It takes a special lady to raise a child that's not hers. So I wrote my first book because I believe in every crisis there ought to be some creativity. And that thing was so negative for me, but it birthed a book in me that has blessed people all over the country. So we have to realize that thing right there, you cannot compete with anything that someone is giving birth to, because you are guaranteed you're going to lose. So now, you got a partnership piece in your mind.
But that right there, that piece is at the helm of many arguments and wars and households, is that people are trying to either sabotage or make a person choose between what they birth and them. That's pretty much the main thing. I mean, you got that. I mean, you have people that think about this, Bishop, let's just take it back, or maybe when you were single and you were out singing, and all of a sudden, why you got to be out there with Jacob and them on every Monday night? Just making an example, but this is what you're birthing. But
that's not an example.
You know. You know what I mean? Look, I try to be mild about it, but yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? When it becomes, well, this is just what I'm doing. I'm doing ministry. And you know, even back when we were in the group, we were like head on serious. We wasn't playing no games. I mean, yeah, we were there on Monday night, but it was our rehearsal. But you notice if you have people in your life sometimes who, you know, what I've come to learn is it would appear that when women can pick up that you really love something, you're passionate about it, there's an enviness that arises because they have to feel like you feel that same way about them. Right. Or we got a problem. And it's just that, and I think a lot of times we have these clashes in relationships because, I mean, speaking from the man, he's not trying to divide the relationship on purpose. He's just trying to be intentful in his purpose and just pursue it and do what it takes to get it done. And sometimes the fight and the battle becomes when you're trying to, toe the line and kind of balance those things. That's when the problems can sometimes come.
Yeah. Well, women always want to be number one.
Right.
I don't care who else it is. They want to make sure that they're number one. They don't want to lose that position or that place. And that's understandable. And I'm glad to hear me and Pastor Jason got a lot in common.
Yeah, y'all do.
Because I came together with a blended family. You know, I brought my 3 daughters, who I raised for like 6 years by myself. 6 years into a marriage, and my wife, she already had a daughter, and so that blended family, people don't understand. That's a tough thing to try to bring together. You know, because you don't want to hurt no feelings. I found I almost went out and bought me a referee shirt.
Oh wow!
You know, because that's how it was. You know, trying to juggle things. But like I was saying, you know, that spouse wants to be, the woman wants to be the number one. Make sure that she's the number one person in your life, and that you putting her first. You know, even when you have your passions, because this is my second marriage. You know, my first marriage for 15 years, and in my mind, when I turned 40, when I was going to turn 45, I was supposed to be a millionaire. I had a plan. I had stuff laid out, set up. I was going to own my own shops. Man, I was in my head. I was doing it, you know. But not everybody, and that's why you be careful who you link up with shares the same vision that you share, or want you to pursue that because they figure that the tension is going to come off of me. That's why it's so important to seek God before you jump out and grab somebody. You know, that Coca-Cola bottle shape, you know, that nice front yard and backyard, that don't mean nothing if that mind is jacked up.
You ain't never lied.
You know, that's the first thing you got to find out. What are your intentions? What are you thinking? Are you going to help me push my vision? Because I'm going to help you push yours. You know, it's not fair that I'm pushing you, you're not even pushing me, or you don't even believe in me. That's another thing that will crush a man if he does not believe in him.
That's it.
You know, so when it's like when I got married, I went right into pastoring, and I didn't have a handbook on it.
Yeah.
I didn't have an instruction book. You know, nobody said, hey, do it this way, do it this way. So it was like I'm pouring everything into the ministry, trying to get the ministry off the ground and doing this type of stuff, you know. And then my wife was like, hey, you know, we need to go out sometime. We need to go eat. We need to do this. All our conversations about ministry, you know. And so if you're not careful, you know, eventually you got to wake up. If you're not careful, you'll leave them feeling like they almost don't matter and that you have replaced everything before them. You know, but it is a process, it's a learning experience. As Pastor Jason said, it's a learning experience, you know, but you got to learn from it if you don't.
So let me ask both of you this. What was your process like to defend your baby? You were birthing. What was the process of defending your baby?
Man,
you know,
a lot of bad decisions, man.
Oh, wow.
I made a lot of bad decisions. And one of the things and hopefully this will encourage, if there's any pastors listening,
Yeah.
at some point, you have to use the mother eagle technique with your people that you're leading.
Wow.
At some point, the mother eagle will go out and actually put food in the mouth of her youngins.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, she will get frustrated with that part of her assignment.
Yeah.
And she'll go back to the nest and push her babies out the nest because she's confident now in what she has deposited in them, that they now have enough strength to fly on their own. Sometimes I know I had to learn this as a pastor, that my assignment, and I'll probably get rebuked by Bishop for saying this, but my assignment, according to what Jesus told the disciples, was, if you love me, feed my sheep. A lot of times, those of us in ministry fall in love with people we were only meant to feed.
Ooh.
And when you fall in love with people that you're only meant to feed, you'll neglect your family, all the other kids' recitals, and
wow.
Because we as pastors feel we have to be at every barbecue, every birthday party, every graduation. We got to be there for everything and be all things to all people.
Wow.
But we neglect the first ministry, which is our home.
Yeah.
That's why, one of the reasons why I believe this separation and this quarantine that we're experiencing right now has been allowed by God. Because anytime that chaos comes into the world like this, it's because God wants to set order back in the world. And the first ministry, I don't care if you're a prophet, bishop, apostle, deacon, saint, or friend, your first ministry is to the family.
Yeah.
And especially us as pastors, we needed this time of separation, because if you look at especially most alpha men pastors, we spend more time at our office than we do at home. Because at the office, everybody's a yes man. And because I like being in the space where everything I say is brilliant, everything I say is on point, just because I'm the pastor, just because I'm and at the crib, your wife is like, nah, dude, take that garbage out.
Wow.
But at the church, I got 15 adjutants that do it for me.
Yeah.
So I like the way that feels. I don't like taking garbage out.
Wow.
I want to be in the high seat where I got everybody doing everything for me.
Yeah.
So I think God had to allow this to happen so that we could get a reality check and that we could get back into place and get things back in the order, because our families, and I made so many bad decisions, man. So many. And my wife, she's been extremely patient. And, you know, I don't ever want as a man to cause my family to hate the church because of how they've been treated. And for my wife to look at the church like my mistress. And that's what can happen if we don't allow the people of God,
that's good,
get kicked out of the nest. And it says a lot about me as a leader if I don't trust my people to work it out.
Yeah.
I've done my job. I've taught them the word. I can't be their savior.
Yeah.
I can't be their God. My job as a pastor is to preach so that your core values are changed.
Yeah.
When your core values are challenged and changed, your decision-making changes. Your life automatically becomes better when I do my job. And that is just to preach the gospel, not to be your husband.
Wow.
You said something key, and I've quoted it twice. I told it to my church. Where we are right now, because things were so jacked up and out of order, and I work in the IT field, and when something's going on with your PC, you press Control Alt Delete, and that's what God has did. That's what's happening right now. He pressed Control Alt Delete and rebooted the church, because basically he said, I want my church back, because I don't know what this was happening right here. Things are out of order. All kinds of stuff is going on. Right now, we're in the process of booting up. That's why we still sitting still. But viruses have come in. All type of things has happened. Disorder, you know, bites all out of whack. All this type of stuff that has to come into order, you know. And God been established the order in the beginning, the order. And when those things go out of whack, that's when the fall of the church happens, because of the fall of families happen, because of the breakdown of the families. You know, because like you said, a lot of people are working themselves to the bone to become famous. You got pastors working to become famous and all this type of stuff for fame and not for the people, you know. But I like what he said, because you can fall in love with the people so much till you lose everything. Wow. And the people will suck the life out of you. I taught a Bible class last night on principalities and personalities. Wow. How the two affect the ministry. Those are two biggest things you would deal with in ministry. And in the Bible class, I use cereal boxes to give an example of how people are. Okay. And one of the cereals was called Cocoa Puffs. Okay. And the guy on the front of the Cocoa Puff box, he had a straw, and he was sucking the cereal and the milk out of the straw, out of the bowl. Yeah. Right. And I'll just give an example how people will suck the living life out of you. They will drain you. Yeah. And when you go home, you will have nothing to give to anybody. Wow. So, as my wife always says, there has to be boundaries set. Yeah. Wow. To where I can't be there. I can't do it. I will send you a prayer. Wow. You know? Yeah. But I can't always be. And I'm like this. I because I'm a people person. I want to be there for you. I want to pray with you. I go to the youngest basketball games, the football games, people's birthday parties, all this type of stuff. And then I would feel bad when I miss somebody's. Mm-hmm. And the Lord was like, look, you got it. You can't be at everything. You're one person. And so then some of my leaders would be like, Bishop, stop. You can't be at everything. Just, it's going to be okay. Yeah. You know, you're going to be all right. Then people started understanding that, well, I know you're busy, you know, because I am busy. Yeah. You know, so you live and you learn. Yeah. But I'm just, you know, you're thankful you woke up in time. Yeah. Because you don't want to wake up and, you know, your stuff going out the closet. Let me put it that way. Yeah, you're right. Because I mean, when you think about it, I can imagine the discomfort coming when it comes to guarding the baby. Because I'm sure both of you at some point felt like, well, what do you mean? This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do this for the people. And it can probably infuriate you, because sometimes the spouse could probably come across as adversarial, because you're trying to say, look, I'm doing the Lord's work and I'm called to do this. What do you mean? Well, what about us? Well, guess what? We're not going to Bible study today. We're not going to show up on Sunday morning. What you mean you ain't going to be on there to the right? I'm not going to go, because since you love them people, you go ahead on by yourself. So it can put you in a trick bag, but you have to be able, like you said, set them boundaries and say to yourself, part of making sure my family is good, excuse me, I'm good, my wife is good, is understanding that I need to implement balance, and I need to set these boundaries. And it's kind of like setting in place a canned structure. Like I do like a lot of work with like access reports and things like that. And sometimes in those databases, there are reports that have already been queried out. They're already there. You don't have to go and build anything. You just go in and say, oh, this is for Sunday school. Click, right. Work out. And so we have to have those kind of things in relationships to say, look, I've already preset this query of boundaries and setting a balance to work in this relationship like this in order to get to go. Because other than that, you're going to be competing for the rest of your life to protect the baby, you know? Yeah, that's true. I lived and I learned. Yeah. I'm still learning, but I think I got it. Yeah. Well, the thing I can imagine about what you two do, because I mean, if you're always evolving and elevation is always imminent, sometimes when those things come, like, because there could be a moment where you're just kind of comfortable, you know, church is status quo. I have so many engagements a year. I may travel to this conference and this, and it becomes regular. And then one day someone's going to say, you know, Pastor Jason, I had a dream that you were going to be a diocesan, and you know, you're going into, now they're taking him to another place. And so now he's like, so as the Lord told you? And now it's like, well, honey, the pastor bishop done said, this is what the God told him, and this is what we have to prepare for. And now the wife, here's another battle. Now the wife is like,
Now, look, this is what we already got in place. We don't have time for what the bishop is suggesting. You know, and so it's kind of it's a tough thing in what you guys do.
Well, really one thing I learned is for every level of elevation,
yes,
God will anoint you with a new level of grace.
Mm.
And what happens is we will accept the promotion, but sometimes ignore the wisdom of the grace for that new level.
Wow.
Because the grace that Bishop needed when he was just pastor,
yeah,
he needs a new level of grace for Bishop.
My God.
And what will begin to happen, because I'm one with my wife, when I'm obedient, that grace that God gives me, it kind of just like a domino effect will fall on her. Because God in that grace also grants wisdom. And will now show me, because what we're talking about here is really time management.
Yes.
That's where most men suck.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
We're horrible.
Yeah.
And we're habitual.
Yeah.
And we keep making promises. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. But because I got that drive in me to my family, I don't know how to stop. I'm just being honest. I don't know how to stop working. Even when I'm on the cruise ship, I'm out doggone 10 hours away from my house in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I'm buying the most expensive internet package on the boat just so I can talk to my staff.
Wow.
I had to say, you know what? And here's the harsh reality, because I work for about 4 funeral homes.
Okay.
And what I'm watching, especially when it comes to spiritual leaders that get called home, and people, period. Here's the reality. People go on. I know we think that, oh God, what's going to happen in my church if something happened to me? They're going to get another pastor.
Wow.
They're going to leave. Your wife is going to get remarried and probably marry somebody younger than you, and they're going to be spending all of your money. So, and that's just the way it is.
Right.
So we got to realize that above making anybody else okay, I'm not okay not having an off switch. I got to detox from all of this work, from all of this ministry. Sometimes I got to go play golf. Sometimes I got to go to the movie theater. Sometimes I got to just stop and do something that makes me okay. Because if I'm not okay, I'm going to get up fussing at my church. I'm going to be taking out my frustrations on my kids, on my wife. I got to take time for me. When is the last time you went and had a steak by yourself?
Yeah, wow.
Before they closed the movie theater down, that was my thing. My wife, no. During the week, any given moment, when I get a free moment, I'm going to see the latest movie.
Yeah.
I went and got a VIP package with the movie theater. I paid $23 a month.
Okay.
And I can go to the movies 1,000 times a month and see whatever I want.
Wow.
It's because with Regal, I need that time for me. Because that time in the movie theater, and I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes I'm in the movie theater knocked out sleep.
Okay.
So there's nobody, pastor, dad, babe. Can I? I'm in there and nobody's bothering me.
Wow.
And I need that time. You know, it's almost like my own personal Isle of Patmos. Wow. You're going to get away. So in that time, I can get revelation on what I'm supposed to do for the church, for my family, for myself. You know, you got to take that time, because if you don't, people just going to move on, man. You'll be somewhere all sick and messed up, and people are going to move on. Wow. So you got to love you.
Wow. That's right.
That's fine.
This thing that we on right now has actually been a blessing
for
me. Because I was going so much.
Wow.
And I was on another panel, was talking. I was telling them how, you know, a lot of pastors don't like to talk about depression or anxiety, but we get that stuff. That stuff kicks in when you become overwhelmed. And so what I did was I said, I got to do some things that I never done before. And I picked this up and I learned it.
You sure did.
You know, I learned it. I was like, I'm gonna do something I need to bring something not normal into my life. You know what I'm saying? I did this. Went out. One of the trustees at my church gave me a 55-gallon fish tank. I set that tank up. Now, them fish has become my new kids. Wow. You know, and when I want to take my mouth of something, you know, I gravitate towards those things. I binge watch everything but them kids. I don't binge watch the kids, but I'm a Netflixer. So I love my movies. I'm on The Last Kingdom right now. So, you know, I do those things to take myself away. Even today, I got this major assignment at work. I'm working from home, but I needed to take my mind away from everything. So you know what I did? And I'm still saved, okay? I went on YouTube and I just put on some old Earth, Wind, and Fire videos. And I just went in. I started thinking about back in the day, you know, when I had no cares.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just, do you remember? And I was just gone. You know? And sometimes you got to do things to take you away from everything so that you can regroup and then you can come back. I went on a vacation, a real vacation for the first time since I've been pastoring. I've been pastoring for 7 years. I went on vacation for the first time in December 2019. A real vacation.
Wow.
We went to Massanutten. I was gone for a whole week. The internet service was horrible, so I couldn't really communicate with anybody. I was on there trying to, though. That's the thing. I was building the church website, trying to get in, trying to do something, but I had to force myself to go to relax, go to the gym, you know, went to play pool with the family. I beat the pants off my daughter, killed her, and my wife. Both of them in air hockey and everything. I'm the king, bro. Don't be clearing your throat. You know it's true. Right? You know, I had to learn to actually relax. So we went and got a timeshare and everything down there. So that I know that I have time to set aside to relax and chill and do nothing and to get away from church things because it'll wear you out. But one thing I did, even before my elevation to bishop, because at first I didn't want it because I know what comes with it. And I told God actually no. And God said, no, I'm doing this. Yeah, there's no in this. What he told me to do was set a structure up in the church to take some of the stress off, to take some of the pressure off, because I was going to have to deal with other churches as well. And so I was able to do that, to give over some of the other responsibility and take some of the pressure off, you know, because it's hard when you start a church from scratch and you build it, you know, from a vision and different things like that. And you got your hands and everything. When God said, I need you to take your hands out of some stuff and trust people now. One of the biggest lessons I got, and I'll be quiet, that is one of the biggest lessons I got was from a spiritual father of mine. He said, you got to learn to give it to them. Even if they fail with it, you've given it to them. So you got to give it to them. You got to get in the habit of saying, hey, take this over. I need you to do this. You know, and so I had to learn that lesson.
So walking in the line with what you just said, I'm looking at some of these comments. They coming on in here. Mr. Bruce Oliver says, this is to you guys. He says, do you brothers have a male confidant that you let your pastoral guard down with?
Oh, yeah. I have my best friend. He was on here a few minutes. He might still be on here. His name Dave Caton.
Okay.
Me and him talk every day. Every day because it's therapeutic. My friendship with him is about 30 years now. Okay. And we talk about everything, man, relationship wise, finances, business. You know, that's just, you know, I don't have to be Pastor J with him.
Yeah.
That's so important because if you don't have that, you can start to believe this persona that has been created. Because you got to understand the church especially creates personas of people.
Wow.
You know, and we're taught in church subconsciously to be ostentatious and don't even know it. You know, we're so used to looking like something that we're not until it almost becomes a habitual habit. I don't want to look like I'm happy. I really want to be happy. I don't want to look like I got money. I really want to have some money.
Right.
You know, I don't want to be one of them people that is going to 28th Street in the city to buy a $30 Gucci belt that you think costs $3,500.
Oh,
no, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy that is balanced, that has people in my life that are not impressed with my gift.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Every last one of us that are gifted needs someone in our life that don't look at you like Charles Dixon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pastor Jason. Because that's when you start to believe your own press.
Yeah.
That's when you, especially those of us that are in the forefront, that are always getting the applause.
Yeah.
somebody that reminds you, yo, bro, that same gift that got you praise is the same gift that can kill you.
Yes, absolutely.
Crucified. Same thing happened to Jesus. They was applauding him one day, then killing him the next.
Yeah.
So you have to have that. So to answer my man Bruce, what's up, Bruce? So definitely have, and I've been blessed, man, because I think that person needs to be someone that's not jealous of you.
Yeah.
Because if you're not careful, when you get unveiled in front of the wrong person, they'll weaponize it against you.
Oh,
you better preach, sir.
On your way somewhere, you know, and you have to just pray for those confidants that look at you and see you with your hair down, but then still respect who you are as a leader. So you got to have that, and thank God I do.
No, that was key before I passed it to that was key what you said when you said they're able to, still, you can let your, head down to a degree, but they still will respect you. That's the key. Yeah. Key.
Yeah. That was good, man. That was good. I lost a lot when I started pastoring. I lost a lot of connections with people, coming, getting married, blended family, and pastoring the church. I really didn't have time for a lot of people. I was engulfed in everything, and lost a lot of those friendships that I had, just the connection, let me put it that way. And so the early years of ministry, then I was in an organization where they didn't really reach out to you. And so I was like, I felt like I was pastoring by myself. I was dying. I was stressed, anxiety. I was having all these things because I didn't have anybody to talk to. And the mantle was given to me. It wasn't necessarily given to my spouse, even though we're married. That mantle and that vision as a pastor, God said, I called you to pastor. And so what happened was, one day, if I can keep it real and transparent, I broke down one day on a Sunday morning. I was about to go preach. I was sitting beside the bathtub. I was crying like a baby, snotting, everything. And I was like, I can't do this no more. I said, I'm tired. I said, I'm stressed. I got anxiety. I can't have sleep. When I get to church, after I preach, I got anxiety. Just so much stuff was going on because, and it's not just the physical, it was the spiritual attack that I was getting too, and so that Sunday morning is when my wife was like, you know what, you're going to talk to somebody. You're going to talk to somebody, and called a guy that I knew he's a certified, of course, psychiatrist, and I'm not ashamed to say it either.
Yeah.
And I was with him for like 3 months, just talking with him. And he poured into me, man. I mean, big time, and listening to him, I understood that I'm not the only one that's dealing with this particular thing as it relates to ministry. And a lot of pastors won't admit it, but we go through it, And so moving from that organization, God gave me a mentor to talk to that I can, point to. He's busy too, but at least I got somebody when I need, I can call and talk to about the things that we feel or go through, as pastors and leadership. And in turn, I found out people, other pastors call me with the stuff that I was dealing with, and I'm able to minister to them as well. But I'm gonna tell you this, I am not against psychiatrists or therapists, none of it. You know what I'm saying? If you need it for your sanity, do it, until, you can hop off of and so you can adjust to what you're going through, because sometimes it's like, I don't know, I feel like I was thrust into ministry because you think it because you've seen it. You think you understand it because I see everybody else do it. So I understand how this is supposed to operate. I used to be over the praise team. I used to be over choirs. I did recording choirs. I know how this operate. I was over the brotherhood.
Right.
So I know how this is supposed to go, but it's like marriage. You never know it until you get into it.
That's it.
You just don't know. I don't care what you see. My God, what you see is not always what you get. Praise the Lord.
You ain't lying, Bishop.
let me tell y'all something. What y'all have been saying today is not only confirmation to some things that I have been praying about in the past, but things I've experienced. Because as you know, Gerald, for years, since if we're talking about defending the children, we talk about the things that we birthed, right, or birthing. And so back then, you figure we had went from, like you just said, it went from us doing the choirs and regular stuff to now we recording and doing things to another level. And then the more kind of captivated you become into your gift and growing, and you're doing all this stuff, you're writing, you're singing, you're recording, it becomes a crowded world. And when you try to foster relationships, it becomes difficult because you want the love because you're human. You want to connect because you're a man. But when you get to that middle ground where it becomes, okay, I like what you're doing, that's great, that song is great, but I need you to choose now. And now it's like, So for me personally, I feel like I've been fighting a crazy race trying to defend kids for years. It went from the music to the talk show stuff and beyond. It's just always, it's whatever I put it in front and center becomes my Achilles heel. And I say that, let me tell you what was so funny. Yesterday, I was listening to somebody on a talk show. After I got off my show, I saw somebody doing a show, and the guy was talking about what we were talking about. He was kind of talking about, how, he had to kind of defend he was a rapper and he had to defend his things. And so I looked at what I told him and I said, and this is my own problem. I was calling myself giving him advice, but it was for me. And so I said to him, I said, we tend to embody and totally embrace the things we can control because it's something someone else can't hurt like they can us. Then I said, this is why we become so onerous of our talents, etc. Then I said, I've been there, experienced that as an artist as well, because I was saying a lot of times we become so, we hoard our gifts like this because it's the thing that makes us us. So we feel, and it's something that no one can touch. Like, you're not going to hurt this. You might be trying to hurt me, but you can't hurt this. And right. So when we get to a place when we say, listen, I got to separate that. And you have to, at the end of the day, if a person is going to be a part of your life and a part of your world, you must find that space of sharing, that space of transparency, that space of connection, so that it doesn't come across like a competition, but more right. So it's a compliment to what you're doing. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, man, wow. Y'all said some good stuff today, man. I totally, yeah. This was, what's so funny, because the Lord always works in these kind of ways where we start off, we may have a concept, and then it ends up, the message ends up kind of shifting to what really needs to be said. So, I appreciate that, man. So, y'all were some powerful speakers on today. Let me just say this before we head out of here. Pastor Jason, we'll start with you. Plug your stuff, plug your, say a little, whatever you want to promote for you. Go ahead, that's your space, and I'll do the same for Bishop.
All right. Well, my name again is Jason Hendrickson. I'm the senior pastor of the Restoration Tabernacle Church here in Brooklyn, New York. I'm also the CEO of All Things Apparel, which this hat is one of my original designs. And All Things Apparel comes from Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and those that are called according to his purpose. I have about 6 albums out. Right. I've got a bunch of placements from Timothy Wright to Marvin Sapp, runs for Bishop Walker, all that stuff. And my social media is Jason Hendrickson. All you gotta do is put in my name, Google me. I'm everywhere, and I love connecting with people. And I'm on Facebook teaching every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And we don't have long church, but we have strong church.
Go to quickening.
Yeah.
So I'm Bishop Zimmerman. I appreciate the opportunity to be on here. The church is True Foundation Apostolic Ministries, and you can look it up. We're on Facebook. Teach every Thursday, of course Sunday morning, but every Thursday we have Bible class. This Bible class I taught on principalities and personalities. Yeah. Last Thursday I taught on fighting temptation. Yeah. Talked about from Adam and Eve all the way down to why we struggle with the things we struggle with. Before then, I talked about the identity of the last day church, because truth be told, it feels like we flipped into a whole nother dispensation. Yeah. So things are not going back to be normal. We're at a whole different place right now. Yeah. So I teach a lot on those things, awareness of what's going on out here from a government standpoint, not just biblical, because some people just all church.
Yeah.
You need to know what's going on out here, what the government is doing, and all these other things that's going on out here. So join, check us out on Facebook, because everybody church hopping now. Join us on social media.
All the week.
And check us out. We'd be glad to have you come on there and comment, and you come in and comment, let me know who you are so I can give you a shout out. But I just appreciate being here. Pastor Jason, I need a hat and shirt. Tell me what I need to do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I got to support, our entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Black-owned businesses. That's what it's about, So y'all continue to pray for me. Pray for my family, my daughters. They about to go into the studio, try to put a single out to work on a CD. They got an all-girl band, Daughters of Zion. They all play instruments and sing. So they're working on it finally. I've been kicking them. So keep them in prayer. Amen. And this has just been fun. I need this. This is my therapy right here.
Hey, y'all. We gonna just like Pastor Jason will tell you, man. We do this stuff all the time, and now that you've been in grad, we're gonna like, hey, on this night, hey, this is gonna be our brotherhood session.
I got nothing else to do.
Because it really is an outlet. It feels good because for men, a lot of us don't do this. We don't really share those things because sometimes we'll find, if we're not careful, we'll find ourselves sharing things out in the open that we don't even tell our person next to us.
Right.
Because we are finding ourselves in a comfortable place where we can kind of unwind and you kind of feel safe to share. And so that's what men need. So I appreciate that, y'all. And so I have a little saying that I always say on this particular show, Unscripted. I always say, let's continue to heal the world one heart at a time. So what you guys did today was phenomenal. Appreciate that. And thanks to the Facebook audience for tuning in, and YouTube today. And we're going to continue to push it. We're going to keep continuing to push things going, and we're going to just got to stay up and stay blessed. So I appreciate you fellas. Right. You got it. And Pastor Jason, you send me the merch link to your stuff.
Yes.
I like that black and red. I like some of them colors, man. The yellow. I need to get with some of that stuff. I'm telling you guys, hey, send it to both of us. Send it to our inbox.
I will.
All right.
All right, man.
Take care now.
All right, y'all.
God bless y'all.
All right.